So this video is sort of a continuation from last week's video about how sketching is changing my art, although today we're talking about how digital painting is changing my art. And I wouldn't really say changing, that's more just like to follow on the title, but I have taken the sketching into digital painting work, which as you can see on my left, this is Hardy Fowler. I'm busy taking his digital painting course, the digital painting studio, and it's been a really interesting experience. So I got a Wacom drawing pad a little while ago, like months ago actually, quite a while ago. Let me show you. This little guy here. It's a small one, it's a cheapie. I got it on Facebook Marketplace for like 400 Rand, which is what, like $18, something like that. I got it for cheap, and I was always afraid to use it because I didn't know how to use Photoshop. I didn't know how to sketch. I didn't know color theory. I didn't know how I wanted to create art in Photoshop, and it was very intimidating. But then I did the sketching challenge where I sketched every day for a while. Well, I'm still busy with it, but I've been sketching for quite a while now, and it got me comfortable of just making stuff from scratch, even when I have nothing on the page or I have no idea. I just have to get a sketch down, you know? And then that got me thinking like, okay, well, why don't I take that same mindset into digital painting? And I tried, but I didn't know how to use Photoshop at all. I know how to use Procreate, but I don't have a tablet, iPad, so I can't really use Procreate, even though that's what I was using for a while when I was making tattoo designs. Then I sold my iPad so I can get the PC, because I was like, okay, well, I can draw on the PC with Photoshop. And then I got a cracked version of Photoshop, and I got the Wacom Insos and realized I didn't know how to use Photoshop. And then I found Hardy Fowler's course on how to use Photoshop and concept sketching and digital painting, and it was pretty much like the catalyst, you know, for what I needed to do and what I needed to learn. And while his style, Hardy's style, is really cool and I'm learning so much from it, I love the way he does things and the way he teaches. It's very easy to understand, and I'm learning so much. When I paint my own original works, I'll show a picture of the piece that I'm working on. It's very in the works right now. It's not indicative of the final product whatsoever. I know that this is going to turn into something much better, something else, something a lot more fleshed out. Right now I'm just throwing ideas around. I'm really enjoying digital painting. It's really difficult, especially on Photoshop, and the disconnect from the drawing pad to the screen is quite jarring in the beginning. Will I stop traditional painting? No, I hope not, at least. I'm having a lot of fun with digital because it's so much quicker, and it's easier to just throw down ideas and see like what is working and what's not working. I definitely do miss painting on a canvas. I miss sketching on a canvas. I'm still sketching in my sketchbook with a pencil, making sure I keep that traditional spark alive as well. I don't want to go fully digital, at least not yet, but I am going to be experimenting a lot with digital art for a while, simply because I'm on this momentum, you know, this train of learning how to use Photoshop, of learning how to experiment with colors and seeing what works and stuff. And once I get very comfortable on this, I'll probably go back to traditional painting and stuff, or I'll do a digital painting and then transfer that to a traditional medium. At least that's how I envision it working. But you know, art is all over the place, and it leads down paths you didn't think you'd be. I didn't think I'd be digital painting, but here I am, and I'm really enjoying it. And the point of me making this video, and the point, I guess, of me making all of my videos, is to just talk about my learning experience, and to say that no matter what medium you're doing, I think experimentation and constant learning is the key to becoming unstuck wherever you're at. If you've got artist block, if you feel burnt out, if you feel stuck and you don't know where to go next, I think experimentation and learning is the way out of that. At least for me personally, it's always worked. If I'm feeling stuck on something, or I'm feeling like I just want to move on from something, try something new, pick up a new course, learn how to do something different, learn how to break apart your process and start fresh, you know. But onto the more technical side of Photoshop, I really love how you can you can sort of layer everything and then pull back what you don't want. So instead of going in and painting with blue or painting with pink, in this course at least, I'm learning to have a sketch and then lay down a base color and then a darker one on top of that. So I've got my sketch, I've got my base color, which is the midtones, let's say, and then I put a dark layer on top of that. And then instead of painting in the shadow areas, I'm actually just erasing the lightest spots from the darkest layer, if that makes sense. And it's such an intuitive way to work and such a fresh way of going about my process in my paintings or my drawings and stuff that I just never did before, because you can't do that with traditional medium. You know, you can't, I mean, you can paint a dark layer and then you paint lighter colors on top of it, but you can't paint a layer and then erase the parts that you don't want to be there, if that makes sense. So it's almost like building up and then working backwards, building up and then working backwards. So like building up and then chipping away at what you've put down. And it feels like I'm unraveling a painting rather than putting the painting down, if that makes sense. It's really cool. And just the functionality of Photoshop and the amount that you can do with it. I'm like genuinely scared of all of the tools in Photoshop. There's so much to use, there's so much to look at, but at least in this course that I'm doing, it's really helping me to pull back a lot of that noise and a lot of the things that I don't understand and just focus on one or two things, get used to it, and then add in more and add in more constantly, you know. And the toolkit is endless. The editability is unlimited. You know, you can do whatever you want, and with the click of a button, just take it all away if you don't like it. And while at first I kind of didn't like that, I was thinking like the limitations of art are what really drive you to make something. And while I still agree with that, I think where I'm at right now, wanting to experiment and wanting to expand and try new things, I think the forgiving nature of being able to just delete a layer or edit something on the fly is just, it's so perfect, you know. And like I said, I'm still drawing in my sketchbook. I'm still trying to hone my skills of proportion and anatomy without having like the push tool or the warp tool and stuff to make the stuff just look correct, even if I didn't draw it correctly. So yeah, I guess if you've been thinking of wanting to go digital, if you have access to it, me personally, I really want to get Procreate again, just for more quicker sketches, quicker like setups, and just get going and stuff. But I'm really enjoying Photoshop, and I do think for bigger projects, full-blown, more extreme projects that take a lot of layers and a lot of work into it, and very, I don't know, professional work, quote unquote, I think I'll still use Photoshop. For you, if you're really intimidated or you don't have access to Photoshop because it is quite expensive and you do have to get a drawing tablet on top of it and have a good enough PC to run it, I scour Facebook Marketplace. Everything I have that I work on is from Facebook Marketplace or from friends. Barely anything that I have is brand new. I'm using like my mom's old TV that she didn't want. I got my PC or Facebook Marketplace for a third of the price that it should have been. This is a really good PC, and I got it for fucking dirt cheap, like $400 or something. And it's like what's the Nvidia? It's the GeForce RTX 3060. It's a Ryzen 5 6-core processor, something like that. I don't know. You can tell me if I'm talking shit in the comments if you know more about PC specs. But I did send them to a friend of mine, and he said they were really good, and he's in IT, so I'm gonna believe him. My Wacom Intuos, like I said, I got that off Facebook Marketplace also for like 18 bucks. If you're watching this in South Africa, the Wacom was 400 rand, the PC was 9,500 rand. My screen is just a cheapie I got for free from my friend. It's actually broken. It's just like balancing on its stand right now. Like, you really don't need crazy expensive stuff. You don't need the best new stuff to keep up with the latest art hacks and this and that and whatever. If you've got an iPad, you don't need an iPad Pro fucking 25-inch, however big they come now. Like, you don't need any of that stuff. You can get going for cheap, and you can get Photoshop for free. Procreate is very cheap though. Procreate is a once-off payment of like $10 or something, not even $10, and then you have it, you know. So start with that. But yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed listening to me just talk shit and ramble about my experiences in art. I would love it if you leave a like and if you subscribe, and leave a comment of what you guys want to see in the future, or something that you want to know about your own process, or more that you want to know about my process. I'm all ears. Just comment whatever you want. Stay hydrated, keep practicing.